Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gorgeous Growth Podcast, where we discuss strategies to take your brand to the top. I'm your host, Oscar Guerrero, and today I'm joined by Lisa Walsh. Now, Lisa is a veteran in the beauty industry. She began in 1984 and has done everything from being a stylist to a makeup artist, not only a local makeup artist, but even she's been worldwide. And in her journey, she fell in love with the formulation side of the business. Lisa really has a bird's eye view of everything in the beauty industry, and it is a pleasure and an honor to have you here, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's really an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Oscar. I'm really going to enjoy this time together here.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. So, I understand that you are the CEO and founder of ISC Beauty. You entered the industry in '84. Why don't you tell us first how you got started?
Well, I've always been really addicted to the beauty industry. I think the whole fashion side of it is just I think women just love it. So as a young girl, I thought I would love to do this. I'd love to make people look good and feel good. It's an amazing industry to be in. So when I finished high school, I did hairdressing, became a colorist, a makeup artist. I did manicuring for a while. Then I started my own business. I had Impact Image Studio for a few years. We had salons and spas throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. Then I got into doing hair and makeup for TV. And then at the same time, I wanted to teach beauty as well because I wanted to share my knowledge. So I was doing a university degree at the same time, and I had an opportunity to go to Harlow, England, and finish my education degree. So that's what I did. And while I was there, I was introduced to aromatherapy. So aromatherapy at the time, it was 1993. Nobody really understood what was in products. If you were having a reaction to products, like nobody knew anything about any of that at that time. It was all new. So I was having a lot of skin reactions to things. Always had like a little bit of acne. So I was really interested in learning about formulation at that time so that I could treat my own skin. Then when I came back from Harlow, I went to teach at a local college here, and that's when I really got interested in the formulating side. So we'd formulate things for client days, and then after that, I had my own salon and spas, and then from there, I got really sick. I just couldn't breathe. I had really bad bronchitis for 11 months, and my doctor sent me to a specialist. The specialist said, "You have to quit the beauty industry." And I was like, okay, like, what are we talking? A year, 5 years? I was loving my job. I was making way into six figures. It was my dream job. I loved it. And then when he told me that I had to quit, I went through a little bit of a depression. There's no doubt about it. And then I decided, okay, well, I'm not leaving the industry that I was born to be into because I'm really good at making people feel good and look good. So I decided to go on a journey to study natural formulations, clean up my life, make my lifestyle more holistic. And then from there, I took about 2.5 years to do that. All of the symptoms from the overexposure to chemicals calmed down, and that's when I decided to start indigenous skincare.
All right. So, um, I mean, that's a perfect seg into what I want to add to what I was going to ask you next, which is what makes the brand different?
Wow. Well, I think there's a whole lot of love in this brand that you'd normally not see in a mass produced brand for several reasons. So I'm very particular about formulating. I don't like paying for water. I don't like, when I go out and see something on a shelf and it costs a lot of money, that, 80 to 90% of the formula is water based. That really gets on my nerves. So when I made the product, I wanted it to be super affordable. I wanted it to be super effective, and I needed it to be sustainable and for it to be safe. So those are my things. And we are big animal lovers. in this business here. So it had to be cruelty free, and we didn't want any animal byproducts. So those things are really important. The brand is located in Newfoundland. We're on the Avalon Peninsula. The Avalon Peninsula's ancient name is Avalonia. It's the last little piece of a microcontinent from like millions and millions of years ago. So the fact that that this little piece of rock is still here, and that people are flourishing here, is amazing. Anyway, I mean, I love where I live, but the weather here is terrible, Oscar. It's like the worst. You could experience 4 seasons in one day. I am not joking when I say that. Okay, so the plants here on the Avalon Peninsula in particular are challenged a lot more than plants on in the Himalayas, than plants in the desert, because they constantly have to adapt to that changing environment. So the antioxidants in these plants are very special. They're the strongest of their kind in the world. They're like the superstars of nature here in Canada, and specifically in Newfoundland, in this small area where I am. So I knew this to be important because I'm very obsessed with botanicals and plants and the botanical garden here. And so I went to the botanical garden and I said, like, I really believe that these plants have unique properties that would really improve skin. So they helped me pick out the plants that were food grade, that had the highest antioxidants, that were the most resilient on the landscape. So we have plants like Labrador tea, partridge berry, which is also called red berry or crowberry. Our blueberries are the only pest-free blueberries on the planet. They're tiny, tiny blueberries. It's a real pain to pick them, but because they are so tiny, the skin on those berries makes up the majority of the berries. So that's where the antioxidant is. And then we did research on all of these plants and berries and roots and leaves, and that took about 5 years. So when we started in 2009, it was like in my house. It was very small. And then by 2011, I knew that we needed to jump into this research, because I didn't want to start a brand without, the knowledge that it was actually going to do something for people. I just didn't want to just be like, a brand that had no intellectual property. So we did that. We worked with National Research Council. We worked with the Memorial University of Newfoundland, Research and Development Corp here. And there's all kinds of research programs within the universities that give you access to the best talent on the planet for finding out the ingredients in these botanicals and how to combine them, and what temperatures they needed to be, preserved at, and how you could use them in a formulation. So I spent a lot of time doing that. And, then at some point in time, of course, we had to monetize this. So I didn't do a really good job of marketing all of this knowledge that we have and all of this intellectual property. But for my own peace of mind and for my heart and for what I believe in, I felt that I needed to have that foundation, and foundations take time to build. So then 2014, 2015, we started to, get these products out into the community here. And then we decided that we were going to, move into grocery, because again, I said I wanted the product to be effective, affordable, available. And that was really, in the small area we are, the easiest way for us to reach the largest amount of people. So that was a really big learning curve for us, because I had no experience in logistics, nothing to do with like packaging products. I mean, we've gone from zero to, like, I'd say right now the business is at about a 75-80% in our ability to deal with all those things. Because 15 years old, I mean, ISC Beauty is an adolescent right now, and that's how she performs. She's unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the name, right? ISC Beauty. Now, I know that the website currently is Indigenous Skincare. For Indigenous Skincare, tell us a little bit about how that name goes along with the brand.
So when I started my business in 2009, I did a lot of research on what I wanted the product to sound like, to the customer. And Indigenous skincare was a name I came up with because I felt that I wanted something that connected us to the land. And indigenous plants and botanicals here were so strong and so resilient that I felt that was a really good name. And of course, now we know that, when you indigenous is almost synonymously related now to indigenous people, which I think is beautiful. And I don't want my name to be confused. I'm not indigenous. I'm a very strong ally of indigenous people. I have many indigenous friends, and I wanted to respect that and honor that in, you know, because of reconciliation and healing for Indigenous people. So we've taken on the huge project of changing our name. And I just thought, okay, it's going to be ISC. What's that going to stand for? And, here we are on one of the most beautiful islands, one of the last most pristine ecosystems on the planet. And I thought it's going to be island skincare. So it's going to take a little while for us to transition, but we're really excited about it, and it's a whole new chapter for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, from a marketing perspective, I know how challenging a rebrand can be, but I also know plenty of people have done it, and I'm sure that you guys will do it and get through it. Um, Organically, I understand that you bootstrapped your brand, right? And it's been around
Yeah.
for 14, 15 years now. So, do you guys get a lot of business through organic search?
We do. I would say like over 90% of our business is from organic search, simply because, when you're dealing with building a brand this size in such a remote area, we had to do wholesale. I think that's really important. So really, I didn't really push a lot of, like, we don't do a lot of Google ads or anything like that right now. Obviously, with the rebrand, that's going to change quite a bit because we do need to let people know. But I think it's important for an owner, no matter how big or small your business is, to have a really good grasp of what's going on in all parts of your business. And I had to do a deep dive into learning, the back end of SEO, how a website works, everything that, every little thing you do on your website affects your website's ability to, um, be visual,
Yes.
in on the internet. So, before you make any changes, you really need to be cognizant of that fact, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's so many brand owners that I speak with that are many of them are trying to bootstrap their brand. You've been at this for 15 years. You've grown your brand. As you mentioned, it's an adolescent now. I think that one of the things that are on a lot of people's minds are, how did you gain that organic authority? How did you start getting business? And truth be told, there's just like many of the businesses that I have worked with, a lot of the beauty brands that are online, I feel rely too heavily on the paid ads. They rely too heavily on Google ads, on Facebook ads, and then they find themselves in a position where making a profit becomes very difficult, right? Because the cost per acquisition continually seems to go up. So
Yes.
this is a challenge that a lot of people face. I think that one of the obvious answers is it doesn't happen overnight. But I am curious, like, did you do anything in particular, and are you doing anything in particular to continue getting that organic growth?
Well, I think the first thing that you need to look at with a brand when you're starting a brand is that it needs to be authentic. You need to have something that's different from what everybody else is doing out there, and you need to believe in it, and you need to be committed. No matter what happens with my brand, I am going to protect it. I'm going to make sure it flourishes. I'm going to make sure that it has the best opportunity to grow. So sometimes that means that, I put myself second. I've made sure that the brand has that ability. So when you're doing that, you have to, the content that you put out, what people see is, people know when they're just being sold, and they don't like it. people just don't want that anymore. People want brands that are committed to things, right? Like we could have sold our brand 10 years ago to a Chinese buyer for millions. But I thought, maybe I should have sold it, but that wasn't in my journey. It wasn't it wasn't cruelty free and vegan. I knew my brand was going to be taken and done something with that I wasn't happy with. So you make decisions that you have to stick by. And it's not an overnight success. I find a lot of people, especially a lot of like younger people, they think that you can build a brand in like 2 years. And maybe, you're lucky and you can. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you have to be in it for the long haul. I mean, and it's too easy to quit. It's like divorce. It's no different. You're in the marriage. Are you going to make it work? Are you going to have fun? Are you going to grow together? Or the first sign of some problem, are you going to just bail? So that's the way I look at my business. I am married to it. And, I think that it takes time to build something, and you have to learn from your mistakes, and you have to accept criticism from people who love you and people who know more than you. And you have to take that advice. And I think that's how you grow a business.
Interesting. Tactically speaking, did you do any blogging, any organics, content?
Yes, sorry about that. I was on a different tangent there. Yes, so we've been blogging since the beginning. So we've been blogging since 2010. There's a lot of content out there on the internet. I think like everything about our ingredient list, for example, our Labrador tea day cream and night cream. I mean, we have like Google, we're first in Google authority on that now we'll go up and down and probably top 5, but we've been there for like 14 years. So I think it's important to keep refreshing your content. And I think you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like lots of times I'll take an old blog, I'll make sure that the information is updated with the new photos and things like that, and give our customers, the information. I've added more information about our science behind the brand. That people love to know what's going on behind the scenes. And I think when you have really good content, you put content out all the time, that people are happy with that. And when I took a little break from that throughout the pandemic, my business took a big dip.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that
It,
has to speak to how powerful that is for you. So it's really just providing the value and being consistent.
Yes. And I think sometimes you just have to force yourself to do it. I'm the person who does that marketing with the company. I'm the voice. I think I understand my brand better than anybody else. So I think it's important for me to devote that time to my customer, because my customer is my boss and my customer needs that information. So right now we're doing a 21-day challenge for skincare routines and rituals. And I think that's forcing me to do more blogging than I've ever done before. And it is a big challenge, but it's something that I wanted to do because I want to do more of that. And it's exciting. And then you get feedback from your customers, and it's motivating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What about on the social media side? Are you TikTok right now has become very popular in the beauty industry. Are you on TikTok as well?
Yes. So we are on TikTok. We've been on there for about a year and a half. I've been on TikTok myself probably for the past 2 months. My nieces are getting a real charge out of me being on TikTok. I don't think they know what to make of it, but I really like the fact that it seems to be a more authentic platform to me, you know? And I'm very ADHD. I mean, I don't have a lot of patience. I like things to be quick, so you can share lots of authentic things with your customer really quickly, and you reach people all over the world, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
I've
so funny.
I've noticed with TikTok, I've noticed with our website, the analytics in the back end of our website have just gone crazy with people from all over the world, specifically like Finland, Norway, Germany. there's a lot more Europeans following us now than and visiting our website than ever before, which, it lets you know that there's things happening. So when you watch your analytics and the back end of all your social platforms, and you look at your Google Analytics and your Shopify Analytics, which is the platform we're on, it definitely is a little path that you can continue to follow and learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's crazy. I hear the same advice from other founders that are also on TikTok, and they're taking advantage of it, and they're seeing like these spikes in traffic. And I ask them, I'm like, what's the trick? And they tell me, Oscar, this is the thing. There's no real trick other than just being authentic. Like, be your authentic self and get your
Yeah.
message out there, and that's really what works. So I'm happy that you that you mentioned that, because there's got to be a lot of truth to it. And I imagine with the amount of time that you've been in this business, and you've gone from formulation to research to distribution and all of this, there had to have been many things that you learned along the way. So if you could share one piece of advice for budding entrepreneurs in the beauty industry, people are very passionate about this, they love it, what would that be?
I think it would have to be not to give up. I mean, nothing that is worthwhile is ever really easy, is it? When we started out, it was just me. It was just me in my house with my mom. I was looking after her, and she was there with me, and she watched me grow this business. I think that you have to enjoy the journey, and you have to learn from what's going on, and you have to be super persistent with buyers, like
Mm.
to the point that you have to think like Labatt breweries or Molson's. I mean, literally, I mean, people that are, those brands when I was in university would always be trying to get you to switch beer brands, And I learned from watching those guys on campus that you have to be, absolutely unrelenting when it comes to promoting your brand to the place that you want to be in. For some people, that could be Sephora. For some people, it could be grocery. For other people's, it could be, direct to consumer. But you really have to really focus on not giving up and look to where the opportunity is, and not be afraid to shift when changes happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's great advice. So where do you see the future of ISC Beauty?
Oh wow, there's so many beautiful opportunities here right now. We are really focused on being a brand that's available to the masses, at least for the next 5 years in Canada and USA. We are really determined to become the number one grocery and pharmacy brand from Atlantic Canada across Canada, because I think it's very important to be really strong in your own community and in your own region. And that gives, and you learn a lot when you do that. So if you're going to make a mistake, it's better to make it at home, and then people are more forgiving. And I've noticed that throughout the years, you need to have that warmth from community in your own area to really be able to rise and take your brand global. At least for me, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
So the other thing with our brand is we are in different areas because we're on an island and we're so secluded. We've grown our business in ways that's probably not normal for a beauty brand, So we have a gorgeous resort here called the Fogo Island Inn. It is world renowned. It creates the most magical experience for people. So we've been the amenity supplier for that brand since 2016. And they have very strong values, zero waste, sustainability, community, all of those things that has really helped me grow as a brand. When I'm working with other local companies, like we try to work with other companies that we collaborate like locally. Like Dark Tickle is a company here that makes jam, and they help me with some of my supplies because I can't possibly collect everything that we need now in house, So I think that side of the business, being linked to the tourism of the area, really differentiates us. Um, And then, you're looking at online. My goal is to make our website like absolutely beautiful and have people very interactive, have people feel like they're actually walking in the door of our business. And really excited to announce that we just signed a lease to open a brick and mortar store where we offer classes and we offer education, women's events at night, men's skincare events, the things that connect us to community, that gives more authenticity so that the customer has better experience. Omni-channel is really important.
Oh yeah, that I couldn't have said that better myself. The customer experience is, especially online, is something
Yeah.
so many brands miss. And it's something that really what people should be striving for. It's like you want to give people a great experience as if they're walking into a store.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more. That's the right way to go. Now, if people want to find out more about you, what's happening with ISC Beauty, what channel, where do you think is the best place that they should follow you?
You can follow us on TikTok at All in Skincare, and from there you can grab all of our information. And we're also on indigenousskincare.com for the time being. So yeah, you can check us out either of those places, and that'd be great.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the time, and thank you so much for the advice. I think that there's a ton to take away from here. And that's about it. Have a great one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oscar.